Hello, friends. Welcome to another Say It Loud podcast. I'm your host, Matt Jones, and we had James Whelan on the podcast this week, and he is a marketing associate with the SIMS Foundation, and that's a local nonprofit in Austin that helps musicians with their mental health, overall wellness, addiction, recovery. I think what I most took from this podcast with James was that SIMS is not necessarily just a crisis center, and that the overall wellness can be addressed at any point, any time that you need it. They have a website, simsfoundation.org. There's phone numbers. We also talk about HAM, the Health Alliance for Austin Musician, which offers great services. And what I really dug about this podcast is that the guys, the Fair City Fire guys, I think were probably as open as they've ever been about anxieties they have in a band. I think, being a creative person, trying to make money in this business all lends itself to sometimes frustration, sometimes anxieties or worries. And I think having a forum like this where you can talk about it is kind of just really a microcosm of being able to go to SIMS and talk to them, talk to someone who's professional and can help you along the way. And mental health and wellness is just one part of being a successful musician in Austin. And I appreciate James coming on to talk about that. And I appreciate the guys being really open. It was fun. Enjoy.
No, we should definitely take the Hanover gig.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I'm for it. I'm for it, you guys.
That's awesome.
That's good. And that would be our guest, James Whelan. Welcome to the Say It Loud podcast, number 27.
Is it Whelan or Whalen?
Whalen.
Whelan. Oh.
I don't care.
It's all good.
Let's take it again.
All right.
Welcome to the Say It Loud podcast. This is George Whelan.
No, it's George Whelan.
Whelan, sorry. Yeah. James Whelan from SIMS Foundation. Yeah, there we go. That works.
We got there.
I think this is it now, right?
Yeah, we're in it. We're in it now. We're in it now.
And go. Should we start at like the 24 starts? Or like goes to commercial? Beep, 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 beep. Good.
All right, I guess we'll redo it once more just in case that one wasn't perfect, but I think we still use it. I don't know.
I thought it was good.
Thanks. You're like my favorite member of the band already.
That was not hard.
Oh, shit.
All right. I think it's happening. Here we are. Welcome to the podcast. Say It Loud. I'm Matt. To my left is Brett, Brian. I guess you got to do that now, yeah.
Hey.
Now it's a thing. Now you got to make a noise.
Hello.
And James Whelan. Hello.
Missed. Swing and a miss. Well, hello, James.
Hello.
How you doing?
That's not going to be,
No.
Or
I thought the first one went way better.
Good. We'll use that one then.
No, the last 3 minutes were garbage, and I can't believe anybody listened to that.
Absolutely. Thank you so
What kind
much.
of podcast is this?
I know.
James, we're really happy to have you. SIMS Foundation, Fair City Fire has partnered several times with SIMS Foundation. Maybe Brian, you probably know about those.
yeah,
What's your history?
Sure do.
What's Fair City Fire's history with SIMS Foundation? in terms of
So
partnerships?
it kind of started with the first Too Damn Hot Affair in 2016 in August. And I got a little poster on the wall, but it was a lot of fun. We were able to raise some money for SIMS and some awareness. We actually weren't even aware ourselves of the foundation until like before that. We were looking up like just ways to help the music community, and we found you, and really, really appreciated what you do and your message and all that. So that's kind of what we wanted to do, and then this year we did that event again.
Yeah.
So
you guys came out too. Like that was really awesome. You guys set up a whole thing and just sweet.
So I think we'll get definitely deeper into what SIMS does, but can you, James? So, what's your position at SIMS? Marketing.
I do marketing. Yeah.
Can you give then? This is perfect. So we'll dive deeper, but just to start it off, can you give like the elevator speech of what SIMS is and does?
I'd be very happy to.
Yeah.
So the Sims Foundation actually started. It was born out of tragedy. Back in the late '80s, early '90s, there was an Austin band called Pariah. They were really making some waves, getting a really awesome fan base, doing some great things. And their bassist, his name was SIMS Ellison. He suffered from depression. He didn't use drugs. He didn't drink alcohol. It was simply mental illness, and eventually he ended up taking his own life. And so this was something that a lot of people in the Austin, business world and the music scene had all seen way too many times before. And so after he passed away, his father, some of our founders, Don Harvey, Wayne Nagel, Alejandro Escovedo, which many Austin music fans know, and Walter Taylor, they got together. They decided that instead of just putting up, a memorial for him, instead of doing, something like that, they wanted to do something lasting. They wanted to make some kind of change. And so the SIMS Foundation was born out of that, where they wanted to provide mental health services for Austin musicians. So that started back in 1995, and ever since then, it's been growing. It's been evolving, and where we are now in 2017, we provide mental health and substance use disorder recovery services for Austin musicians, Austin music industry professionals, and their families as well. So
yeah,
Nice.
And I
That's
think
awesome.
So SIMS is a name we know, SIMS Foundation, SIMS Ellison, and I think what I think is cool about you guys, and that's what I think at our last Too Damn Hot affair that Fair City Fire did at Antone's, there was this really focus on one of your co-workers, I think on the clinical side, Patsy.
yeah.
She's awesome, and she was talking about it's not just mental health. No, it's like this general wellness. So it's this idea that to be an overall well human being, that's part of it, and it maybe it's not separate from the rest of you, that it's all inclusive into who you are. And I think in your experience, I could talk to these guys too. I mean, is there something about the artist that makes it more applicable to just trying to find that overall whole wellness? I was wondering.
There is. I don't know if me being from my background, I can get too much into maybe the scientific perspective of it, but there's actually been a lot of studies done about the musician's mind, the creative's mind, and for one thing, musicians are 3 times more likely to suffer from depression. So as far as mental health issues go, yeah, I think people who become musicians, who get into the music industry, if not for the mindset that you have to get into that, coupled with the lifestyle that you're going to live, it just sort of is just a major factor in creating more mental health issues for you as you go along. It's something that we kind of, I think, take for granted here in Austin, because we absolutely love live music. We love our music scene, but what people who create that music, who create that entertainment for us go through, a lot of times we really overlook it.
Right. And again, so James, simsfoundation.org, if you want to make a donation or get their services, all the numbers are available there. So check those. I mean, on the band side, I mean, you guys know people. I mean, I don't know if you can say. I mean, I'd be interested from you as well, James. Knowing people that have had, in your industry that struggle, and for you guys, I always see that it's important for you to take part in this. Be a part of SIMS. Why do you think you guys gravitated towards that in terms of your partnerships for these shows?
I mean, for me, it was definitely a personal thing. Like, I definitely had some people close to me that were pretty depressed, like people in general. and even so far as like mental illness, with bipolar disorder and stuff like that. I've been very close to that, not in my personal experience, but from people that I love. So it was tough to kind of see that happen and to feel that they didn't really know where to go sometimes, and I think just hearing about SIMS and, having the opportunity to, be able to say like, hey, like this is a number you can call. Like they're here to help people like you. Like, so I think it's real. That's why I liked it, because I had seen that in the past, and I had seen somebody feel helpless dealing with that. Somebody I really cared about. So I think that was it for me. Just that door being open to somebody who's going through that, because sometimes it's hard for them to ask for help. Hard for them to, if you're in the throes of it, it's like hard to even feel like you deserve help. A lot of people say that.
How do you, maybe you could give some advice, James, just being around it, but how do you, it's this weird balance of like the creative, the artist, who sometimes you see is like, that guy seems like he's crazy, or like, but it's just part of his material, it's what they create from that. But how do you approach somebody that's your peer, that you think of just, is it part of your community, then you're like, you might be in trouble. I don't know if you got, even the band or James, how do you tell somebody that, really?
I think very carefully.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. I don't think it's the right answer.
I think Brian brought up kind of a great example where, if someone's suffering from bipolar disorder, we would absolutely want them to be calling us to, come to our office, talk to us. But we're trying to also get people way before then. We would,
right.
We don't want to be a crisis center. We want to be there for you from the beginning when you're first kind of having these thoughts. Hey, am I just a little bit, eccentric? Is this just my lifestyle's a little bit kind of tough right now? Or do I need to see someone about this? Do I need to talk to someone about this? We want to get people in the door as soon as possible, because calling SIMS, coming to SIMS, doesn't necessarily mean that you have a mental illness. It doesn't automatically, make you an addict. There's a lot of negative stigma, a lot of, negative connotations that kind of come with seeking help. And we really want to make sure that people are coming in the door well before then, just to simply say, hey, things are kind of, rough right now. I'm just looking for someone to get some advice, from someone to bounce my issues off of.
That's an excellent thing to have in the city. I think it's so cool. That was my thought, but
I know it seems like you don't have to, I like what you're saying, because it's not crisis management. Like, and that's the big point of this, is that it's, if you start feeling weird, like, man, what am I doing? Like, I don't know if I feel like I belong to this band or this, or whatever. Just when you start first having thoughts or any not weird, that's stupid. I was being judgmental. Thank you, Sim.
It's tough to get around that.
Yeah.
There's so many words that come out as judgmental when you don't even, mean to say it, and it's something that I think even, people who work at SIMS, we struggle with too.
Yeah. But it's like any kind of thoughts, like as long as you think I should call this number, or I should pick up the phone and call somebody I don't know and talk about something. Yeah, like that's enough.
Yeah.
It seems that more often than not, it's just nice to get stuff off your chest, whether you share it with a friend, family member, or just if you don't have either of those that are close to you, just pick up and call and just talk. Because sometimes it's, I can't say I've necessarily suffered through mental illness, but depression, like anyone else has gone through, and just sometimes hearing that someone else has gone through the same thing is such a relief. And so I guess that would be a good way to just get it off your chest. Call SIMS.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just signed up for, just became a ham member. So I'll be coming in soon here in the next couple weeks for sure.
Well, that's
Same
a good
here.
bridge. Yeah. Sims. I mean, there's definitely a partnership with Ham,
Yeah.
right? And I think everybody. So Brett, you're in. Brian's
You're in?
and Joe's in.
Yep.
So
Clint's in too.
Clint, good.
Sweet.
All of
Clint's
Fair
not
City
here,
Fire.
though.
Fair City
Yeah.
Fire, yeah.
So what is
Is this a segment? Is this Clint's segment?
Yeah,
Hey Clint, are you signed up with Ham?
yeah.
Yep. Da-da-da. Clint's
Clint's
not
not
here.
here. Yeah.
That was his thing. That's what he does.
So what does that mean, Brian? What does that mean? Like Ham and I mean, I think some people know about it, but I bet there's a bunch of people who don't, and they should.
It's amazing. This city's amazing that it provides the kind of support for musicians that it does. I mean, Ham's great because you like from my experience, it was just go into the office. They help you like pick out or help you like figure out your plan through like Obamacare, basically. What is it called?
Affordable Care.
Yes.
Healthcare.gov.
Healthcare.gov. Bam. Yeah. So they kind of figure that out, and then they give you your health coverage that they're willing to help you cover, and basically the government will pay for some of it, and Ham will pay for, in my case, the rest of it, which was really nice.
Subsidize it,
Yeah, I don't
Yes,
think
yes,
they do
yes.
that for everybody. I think it's like income based, but
Yeah, it depends on your bracket, but they'll usually
they'll help
pay.
you.
Yeah, they help you if anything.
And it's better health coverage than I would have got on my own for sure. So it's really cool.
Yeah.
Really cool that we have that. And SIMS is part of the services that you can get through that. It's my understanding.
Yeah.
Like, once you have Ham.
Through well, you don't have to be a Ham member to come to Sims.
Okay.
That's great.
Yeah,
Excellent.
especially
Yeah,
because
that's very important.
Ham is musician only.
Uh-huh.
Whereas Sims, we serve the entire music industry and their families.
Okay.
Excellent.
So we kind of, not that makes Ham any worse. What they do is incredibly vital and crucial,
Right,
and we
yeah.
love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It's a larger
That's just,
scale.
yeah, that's sort of
Yeah.
the main difference. We have something I think a little bit more specific, whereas Ham is more on the health insurance side.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what does it take? What's the process like for somebody to get help from Sims? What do they have? They have to call and then
They just have to. They can give us a call, and we are able to kind of guide them through our process. Essentially, we have a client form that they have to fill out online. They submit that to us. Then we kind of go through an eligibility screening. Kind of assess whether or not they are eligible as a Austin music industry professional musician or the family of someone in the Austin music industry. And then, once they go through that, then they will speak with someone from our clinical staff, and they will kind of give them an assessment as to, what exactly are you looking for? Are you looking for therapy? Are you looking for counseling? Are you looking for, for rehab? And once we figure that out, then we go ahead and we make a referral, and we will kind of follow up and take over, some more case management, see how you're doing, making sure that while we don't do a lot of the like the therapy or the counseling in our own offices, and we're sending you out elsewhere, we want to make sure that the people that we're partnering with are following through, and we want to see how you're doing down the road. Because a lot of people that are in our service provider network, they understand that when they get a call from us, when we contact them, when we send someone to them, they're getting a musician or they're getting a music industry professional, so they understand right off the bat that this person comes from a musical background, a creative background, and so their brain is just wired a little bit differently, and there is kind of a different approach to a lot of that treatment for people in music. Like there's a great place called Recovery Unplugged, which they have in Austin, which is a music-based substance use disorder treatment facility. And so music is such a vital part to the recovery in what everyone does. And yeah, I think just being from a musical background kind of alters the approach that you have to take in order to help someone seeking any kind of treatment, however minor or major it is.
Wow. So, I mean, so that being said, how would you explain the connection between you and Ham?
I mean, I think it's just kind of a matter of overall wellness.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whereas Ham is more on the health insurance side of things, making sure that you're getting into the doctor for whatever kind of physical ailments you're dealing with.
And they're like, hey, for mental health, you should go to these guys because they are awesome.
Yeah.
Like, it's essentially how like that worked. Like, that partnership there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very kind of holistic sort of partnership where we want to make sure that the mind and the body of everyone in the Austin music scene, is in as good shape as possible.
That's an
It's
important.
good to understand. Yeah.
I think that's an important point too, because we're talking about these services. So some people might be like, "Why would you just give these people just health care and these services?" But I think that's the good part of being in Austin. I'd like to kind of veer the conversation that way about being somewhere where it's like you can't do this in a lot of cities like Austin. The idea here is to appreciate the creativity, the art, the arts, the music, the people here who make the city what it is. They make the city alive, and like it's a tough life. It is like there's not a lot of money in local music, but the people that do it, I think, have value to the city, and it's incredible to see these organizations that appreciate that and raise money for it, do everything they can for it. And again, SimsFoundation.org, you can go there. You can even donate if you want to the cause. You don't have to be a musician. You have to be from Austin. You can just donate to that.
Mm-hmm.
But then what does it mean to you guys to live in a city where, you ideally they're taking care of what's important for us? Yeah.
Well, this is, the live music capital of the world, and I know the city wants to maintain that. And I mean, it's a great place to be and play music. And so I think the city understands too, or like these organizations understand that, like, if you want to keep it the live music capital, like, take care of those folks, and it, like, I feel like it's a relationship, because then the musicians are going to play more, they're going to go out, they're going to do more things because they're in better health and stuff like that, maybe be more active, be more creative,
Stay here.
and stay here. Yeah, and I think it helps. Yeah, I think it's a great relationship. I think it really is. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was definitely helpful in deciding to move here, because I know I was kind of evaluating places to live to pursue music. Nashville came up in my head, and all this stuff. And I talked to my friend who had been in the music industry for a little bit, and when she heard that I was considering Austin, she's like, "Oh, they do healthcare for musicians in Austin. It's like super crazy that they do that." But like, I just heard about that from my friends in the industry, whatever, and I was blown away. So I looked into it, and I was like, wow, like, that really does send a message to people that that thing, there are organizations that care about the musicians here, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes it's hard to feel that,
Mm-hmm.
You don't feel that everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get, the city has an identity, and that's, I think if we're realistic, there's questions about livelihood of musicians in Austin now. Just being able to make a livable wage, or how far do you have to live away from the city just to come and play in here?
Mm-hmm.
But that these organizations are still around, that's a big deal.
And like, it's great to have something like Sims too, because there's so much. Like, I feel like, just touring and scheduling and doing things and worrying about, having anxiety and things like that. Like, they happen in like playing music and stuff. Maybe you're worried, like, if you're gonna get enough gigs next month, and like, you know what I mean, or or I know there's always like a high whenever you're out there on tour and stuff, and then you come back and it's like, oh, it's kind of a lull. It gets a little not hard to like move forward, but you know what I mean. You're like, oh, I want that.
You're living on the excitement. Like,
yeah, exactly.
City after city, and then,
yeah, and then there's kind of like a lull afterwards. You got always kind of that's a thing that I struggle with sometimes too. Like, whenever we come back.
Yeah.
But like, it's cool. It's cool that Sims is here for that kind of stuff, man.
And there's also that kind of reality once you come back from something like a tour where you might have not made money, you might have lost money, and your job that you had might have said, well, you were gone for 6 weeks, we're going to cut down your hours and give them to someone else who is here.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden you're realizing that this tour, this way that you're trying to make your livelihood, this way that you're trying to go out and entertain people and provide something real and incredible for them might have backfired financially on you. And so that's, kind of one of those extra stresses that musicians constantly face.
Yeah, I think so. And I think another one too is just like rejection. I think in the music world, if you're not getting rejected like constantly, you're probably not reaching high enough. So it's like, some people deal with that better than others, and I imagine for some people it would send them spiraling. If like just something they really wanted to happen is just like, oh, sorry, we're like booked that day, or like doesn't respond to your email, that kind of like that stuff happens all the time. And it's, it's hard even for me to, separate that and make that not personal, but I imagine for somebody who struggles with mental illness, it'd be really hard not to focus on that and think like, why am I not good enough? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's the music world is tough.
Well, I'm kind of curious to know. Well, yeah, I mean everybody's involved, but what are there certain, I don't know if you call them hurdles or red flags of things in music that I think are general difficult emotional times that people should think about?
Seems something I've kind of struggled with over the couple of years is kind of my age and trying to reach after something that seems to be more sought after by younger, like, people in their early 20s or even teens, late teens, early 20s, through their 20s, and then trying to get away from also the standard of, hey, you should go to college, you should do this, and then as soon as you get out of college, you should, have a job, and then you find a girl, you get married, settle down, have kids, and then go along that, and then if you're not following that exact rule, for me, it's like, I linked up with Brian years back and kind of started playing music later on in my life. And then just trying to separate, what you should do to what I want to do. And then, try not to, take what people think too seriously. But, sometimes it's hard to really not, absorb that kind of like negativity from people. We get a lot of the whole, oh, that's nice that you play music. When are you going to grow up and get a real job kind of thing?
People don't understand.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't.
And that can be, it can be depressing and send you down the rabbit hole about yourself. If you don't have a good group of guys behind you kind of balancing that out and pushing you back up, you could really go down quickly. So I guess for me, it's having a good support system, whether it's through SIMS or just friends and family that really kind of keep me level-headed in the music industry.
How much is it a balance, and I wonder if you notice that, between the anxiety of the creativity versus the business? Like, is it like 50-50 for you guys? Like, I gotta make, money must be like a big thing, right? Does it overwhelm you on the creative side sometimes?
They can kind of feed each other, I think.
Yeah.
If you're out, you're playing a gig to 20 people, and it's middle of the week, and you're not really happy with the gig, but it's something that you've been working on for a long time, and it's like the entire music industry is built around essentially the bar business.
There's a lot of it in town.
And that can exacerbate a lot of those negative feelings. If you're not, really thrilled with where you are, if you're feeling anxious about this new song that you just, played for the first time and you didn't get the reaction that you were hoping that you were going to get, if you were on a podcast and you sounded like a total asshole.
Dude.
No,
He's talking about you, Brian.
Not that.
Oh,
not
man.
that
Why you gotta call me out like
had that experience? But there's so many things in just being a musician. It can just become that kind of cliched vicious cycle where one feeling makes you take this one action, and then that one action makes you feel this way, and then that one feeling makes you take this other action, and it just
And James, I think we should mention you're a musician yourself, right?
Allegedly, yes.
I was doing some light Facebook stalking.
Oh,
And, I saw some pictures of you. I don't know if you were playing drums or playing guitar or both.
drummer,
Or
yeah.
a
Nice.
drummer. Okay.
I'm best known as a drummer. Yes.
Very
Alright,
cool.
yeah. Do you play around town at all?
Not recently. No, I had a band that I was playing with here for a year and a half. We were a trio, and our guitarist moved out to San Diego to do grad school.
Typical
just
Alex
last week.
Lifes and stuff.
Yeah.
Classic.
We recorded an album. He bailed, and it was no more. But I've been playing around with the other guy a little bit.
Nice.
Did you? So I would imagine the work you do with SIMS. I know you're on the marketing side, but it has a touch of personal, pride.
Oh
to,
yeah.
do that.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. I moved down here. I went to school in Boston, and so I moved down here in 2009. And my plan was to become a songwriter. Sell a shitload of songs and take the city by storm. And
That's a great plan.
Excellent plan.
Sounds like
You
a
would
pretty
think.
great plan.
You would
Yeah.
think. I got down here and I
had a
actually
similar
watched some of
plan.
the musicians around here, and I realized I was a very small fish in a very talented ocean. And so I kind of scrapped that plan and figured I would just keep playing music on the side as something to keep me sane and something to enjoy. But I knew that playing music was not going to be the way that I made my
So do
living.
you still have a drum set at home?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
How much you jam on there? A little bit or what?
A little bit, yeah. No, I've got a practice space that I usually
Nice.
go down to when I want to get loud. So
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's
What
awesome.
do you just put on some tunes? You got some musicians you're playing with right
yeah,
now?
I've got a couple buddies I
Nice.
like to jam with.
That's
so
awesome.
Are you saying you're in the studio?
It sounds like it. Sounds like it's
Kind of. That makes it sound way more official than it is.
It
Do
is.
you
It is
use
official.
what practice space do you use? Do you do like Music Lab or?
No, it's actually it's kind of like this old weird like office park building in the industrial side of town over on like the east side that got converted into a practice space. So I share it with a handful of other bands. I could drive there. I couldn't tell you what the address is. Or what street
When
it
you
is.
guys
That's cool.
drop your album, is there any like written rules in SIMS where people are coming in for help and you're like, just sign this, but here, check this out while you're check out my new
We'll
demo.
see.
Self
It'll make you
promotion.
feel better.
Yeah, that's good.
That's awesome.
I'd like to do another round of, because I thought it was interesting, is like the idea of like maybe like the small things. Like, what are some of the small things again in music that you think
All the small
could
things.
make and Blink 182? I'm not that old. Like they're modern. Yeah. Kids love Blink 182.
Isn't that classic rock?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they get it on their Zumbas.
What?
It's not, I don't know. Is that a thing?
Zune? Is it a
Zune.
Zune?
Isn't that
an exercise
Yeah, it's like a
class?
Microsoft.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to. Just another rotation through of, this idea that even small things some things you might think doing what you do, playing music, trying to do it as a business, that can cause some anxiety or frustration, and people think they just have to deal with it. It doesn't necessarily have to be with you, but people you've seen in the business, like whether it's booking or travel or being in a band with people, like some things you think are okay to talk about that maybe people just take on themselves.
You look for examples.
Yeah, I would imagine a lot of like interpersonal relationships probably cause some anxiety, right, for bands. I would imagine mostly do you think a lot of money things more than anything?
I think money
Mess up
is
a band?
probably one of the biggest stressors
Yeah.
for anybody. But with music stuff for sure, because there's no guarantee. Like it's as far as money goes, like until you have like management and all that stuff, like nobody really has your back.
Right.
It's like if you're not like hustling to make your money and like getting regular gigs all the time and stuff, like you're just not gonna eat. It's just
And-
kind of
And according to the Austin Music Census that was done back in like think 2000
Mm-hmm.
something.
14, right? Or
2012,
15,
2013,
yeah, something.
14, somewhere within those few years. It was like 70% of Austin musicians make less than, I think, $10,000 a year.
Yeah.
Through music.
My God.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So unless you're top tier, you're not making shit off this.
And that's dedicating. That's not like $10,000 for a few. That's putting time in at home on your computer,
Yeah.
trying to get gigs, meeting with people. Like, it's a full-time job if you
Yeah.
want to be successful. let alone
Learning material,
non-media,
So I feel like
Practicing,
creating and playing music is only a small little part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
It's the part
weird.
we wish we could just do and not to
Yeah.
focus on anything else.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that's not the case.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel that way, like when you play a show? Like, let's say you haven't played in like a week, but then do you ever think about, but I spent 20 hours emailing and making other gigs and practicing? Does that like show? Is that like a release of?
Oh yeah.
This is all the work I did this week. Yeah.
Especially for the big events, yeah.
Yeah.
Like when we've Too Damn Hot Affair is a good example. That's like one of the events we take like the most seriously as far as promotion and planning and like making sure we have great bands playing with us and like it's at a great venue and we do everything we can to get people in the door. But like when that is actually happening and there are people there, it's been great the first 2 years doing it, but like that's oh my God, everything was worth it,
Yeah, it's a nice
For
payoff.
sure. Yeah.
But there still is that stress leading up to it.
100%.
Before you see the people start coming in the door, you're
Yeah.
like, are we going to be playing to 10 people tonight?
Yeah. Did I
Yeah.
do enough? Is there too much going on tonight? Besides this event in Austin, because that's the thing. You plan something on a Friday or Saturday, you're competing with like 9 other great events at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, at
At
the very
minimum.
least. Yeah. So it's always great when it works out.
So what's the next in line? So you've got, it seems clear, the idea that, okay, business or making money or just being able to live playing music is the biggest thing that most people think about. What's next in line? Is it, you think it's creative things that still fall within like band administration? Like what do you think about most besides like just being able to make music for a career or money or
I could
do what you love for that?
I could definitely talk about my arc because it was
Yeah,
like when I
okay.
first moved to Austin, my whole goal was just simply to just make a living playing music, and then I kind of found a way to do that, but I realized that the way I was doing it wasn't really making me happy. It was the grind on 6th Street, and it was just so many shows. We're talking like 8 3-hour shows a week kind of thing, and just nonstop like happy hour on 6th Street things that like there would be 5 people at for the most part, because it'd be like Monday at like 4:00 on 6th Street. Nobody's down there, Yeah, right.
Oh yeah, no, I would say that the days where I was watching like a band play middle of the day at like the Chug and Monkey was usually not a good day for me. So.
It's a
Yeah.
rough gig, yeah.
Yeah.
But think about all the exposure you're getting.
Yeah, right. But those guys that are on stage, they're really, it's tough because there's not a lot of people there. Most of the people don't care that you're there. They're there to get loaded with a couple of their friends. And your check or your cash at the end of the night is not going to be great. You're on 6th Street, so that's why I had to do 8 3-hour shows a week, and that's tough for a lot of things, especially if you're singing every song. It's like you're going to burn your voice out so hard, and that just kind of like, it's just tough. It's not sustainable. So it's, that was kind of a big thing for me, and then kind of realizing that wasn't what I wanted. Even though I was doing what I set out to do, make my living playing music, I needed to find another way to do that. So I got a job for a little bit and then regrouped, and Brett and I kind of took another shot at it, and just played stuff that we wanted to play, and stuck with our rule of like going where you're appreciated, not just tolerated.
Yeah.
Which I think is a good mantra for musicians.
It is. It's been
For
nice.
anybody.
Yeah, and we've noticed over the years that we've been playing that, it becomes less shows, more money, instead of more shows, less money. Because here in Austin, we all know that there's always someone that'll do it cheaper than you. And if you're going to the places like what Brian said, where they just tolerate you, they're gonna go with the person who's gonna do it for less. So Brian made a good point. We started playing these places where people kind of recognized the talent and the time and effort that we've put into becoming a duo, trio, or full band, and our music, the quality of music to them, and they've noticed that. And so, we're pretty fortunate in that area where these people kind of know our, something that Brian always talk about is know your self-worth in music, realize your worth. You don't have to necessarily pick a number, but just know where your worth is at, and don't succumb to being underneath that just because someone's willing to just say, our budget's this, we're gonna pay. Have a strong head and sometimes turn it down.
The power of no, for
these
sure.
Are examples
Got to be able to say no.
Mental anguish. These are examples of the mental anguish for musicians.
Yeah.
So go to SIMS
The more you know.
for that mental anguish.
Yeah, and I mean, I'd say that's good. That's the more you know with Joe segment.
There you
That's
go.
good.
Yeah.
That's great. I think now the goal has changed to pretty much like, let's do Fair City Fire, like full time. Let's make, releasing great music and going on the road and all that stuff. Let's make that cover the bills. So that's the thing. Your goals just sort of change with you. I think. But
yeah, it's a constant reassessment of where you are and what you want to get out of what you're doing. Like I've met plenty of people in Austin who have been on huge tours. They've played to huge crowds, but they've decided that they're much happier staying here, playing around town, just doing something on the side, and that's the lifestyle that they want to get. They get more satisfaction out of what they're doing musically by doing that rather than constantly traveling, being away. And then there are also people who have been playing around Austin for years and years, cutting their teeth, just paying their dues, and they are not getting to the next level, and it kills them. Maybe sometimes literally, although I was meaning it more in the figurative sense, but it really just bothers them to no end that they're not getting to that next level where they want to be, because what they want to get out of their music career is different from someone else. And so at every single point in your career, and even you guys as a band, you're constantly going to be reassessing, what do you want to get out of this. Maybe at some point one of you is like, well, it's time for me to settle down, have a family, or one of you wants to move somewhere else, and it's just going to be.
Which one of you is moving somewhere else?
That's funny. It's funny you say that.
Spill the beans right now. Yeah,
we will. It's funny.
I didn't want to break the news this way, but
because we went through that. Like we had a member who was like, we want to go, and he wants to move, and
move back to his hometown and kind of
hometown and settle down and things.
Settle down
like,
and do that thing.
So yeah, that's definitely. I mean, that's something that happened. Less than a year ago, or like about a year ago.
And
Yeah,
so you
like
found a new member to replace him.
Mm-hmm.
And so kind of, I guess maybe when you're thinking of how does someone mesh with the band,
Yeah.
what did you guys go through a lot of struggles in finding the right person to work with?
Yeah, it's hard to say with our previous member. Like, replace is it's a hard word to use with how we felt about that guy, and we didn't necessarily replace. We just moved on and allowed Fair City Fire to change to what it is now, and we acquired a really great guitarist out of it. In
Clint, but it definitely was like trying to find someone who was like maybe musically talented, but maybe not like organized. You know what I mean? Or something like that. Like one skill set's there, the other skill set's kind of like lacking. Things like that are difficult, or maybe they're really, I don't know. You gonna say something, Brian?
No, I think you hit it, man. It's tough. It's tough to find a new band member, and that's the thing. Like, a lot of people are going through that.
How do you find a new human?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much to it. I mean, they gotta want to make the same kind of music you do, at least to a certain extent. They're gonna put their own spin on it, so you got to be okay with that, probably. Depending on your situation, I guess. But it's they've also got to be cool. Like, you're gonna spend a ton of time with this person. It's like, you can't, especially if you're gonna go on tour and stuff. Like, you can't have somebody that's just insufferable to be around. It's like, that would be really, really tough on the road, or even just in practice or whatever. So there's just so many factors, and they have to be good.
Yeah.
Like,
And
they can't make you sound worse. So.
And I think you guys also bring up so many different kind of possible points of stress when you're trying to find a new member, where say everyone except for one person loves this one person that you auditioned, and then that one person is like, well, no, they're an asshole, I can't stand to be around them. All of a sudden you've got a lot of band infighting, and I mean, there could be any number of possible points in that process where all of you are butting heads, and you don't agree with the best way to move forward, and crazy enough, that's one of the times when you could come to the SIMS Foundation.
There you go. Yeah.
We do stuff like band counseling.
That should be your slogan. SIMS Foundation. Crazy enough, you can come to us.
It's hilarious how many times I've had this conversation with people, how being in a band with somebody is like being in a relationship with somebody. Mm-hmm. It really is, in a very weird way, and unless you've experienced it, you probably won't quite get it. Mm-hmm. But it's like, it's funny because you say like band counseling, it's like marriage counseling. It's the same kind of idea. It's like, how do you guys communicate with each other? Probably, you should, I don't know. I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
I mean,
sure.
we're
been in marriage counseling.
I think we're like connected just at a more personal level. Like, if something we do affects the rest of us, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? It's not just like if we were just buds or whatever, and it's just like, okay, cool, like I'll see you next week or whatever. It's like, hey man, like we have to help each other and get together, and we have to plan things together, and we have to say like, hey, if I'm leaving, like we can't go on the road for this many days, or we can't play a show these days, so here's my schedule, here's your schedule. Like it's like that's essentially what you do in a relationship.
You're creating art together. You're presenting ideas to each other, that come from somewhere, deep inside you, from a place emotionally that you're sharing with all these people, and they might turn around and be like, this sucks, this is dumb as hell. So you're putting yourself in this vulnerable position just by being musical partners with all these people.
For sure. And it does and the type of band settings I've been in, it always kind of ends up feeling like you're in a family, too. So it's just that way, for better or worse. But yeah, it's that's a good thing that I definitely appreciate, is we all have each other's backs too. So it's cool.
Yeah, I think what I would take from this episode, and like the theme, is like, it doesn't have to be the end all be all to contact SIMS. It's like,
no.
So yeah, I thought that was a great idea. Like, okay, so the band is changing. I don't know how to deal with my family changing, basically, or how like this relationship is going to change, and that's worth talking about, and like all the small things you consider that are stressing you. Like, you don't have to wait till it builds up. And I think, from what I've gathered from you guys, is that you can come to us. Like, you have open doors, you have phone numbers. I know I mentioned like you could reach out and make an appointment, but if somebody really needs, to talk, you have the number. I think you mentioned it, 512-494-1007.
Where's the 1,000 on my phone?
Yeah.
Where's the 1,000 part on my phone?
Is there a 1,000 button?
Is there a 1,000 button? How do I do that?
And that's, I think, the hardest thing is to like recognize the little parts.
Yeah.
That you,
I think that's something Patsy was when she was at Antone. She was really cool about. Yeah, it was that, going back to the wellness. It's not necessarily a bad thing to to go to Sims. It's,
Yeah. That's one of our biggest, I think, initiatives right now. Just what we're trying to get out to people is that when I was talking to some friends recently who were signing up for Ham, and one of the things that I found that was a complete pattern was that a lot of musicians in Austin, they always feel like, oh, I don't deserve this level of care. I'm probably fine with this. They don't want to take more than they feel like they deserve. And so with Ham, they almost never, I can't speak for them actually, so I'm not going to speak for them. But Ham has found that a lot of people really just have that mentality where they don't want to take any more than they need. They want to make sure that there's something left over for the next person, and that's kind of the same thing with Sims. Is that people don't want to come to us, even not necessarily because of the stigma, because because they think that everything's fine, but they might not feel like they deserve help. Like what they have is so minor, so trivial that, oh, someone else really needs these resources more than I do. Someone else needs this money a little bit more than I do. And I think that's kind of a trend that you see a lot more within the music industry, within musicians. Not that everyone else is a selfish asshole, but certainly from my time working with people in Austin music, that's what I've known and seen, and we want to make sure that people understand that there's nothing too minor. There's nothing too minor.
There's plenty of you to go around. There's no there's a surplus of Sims employees that will help out at any level, it seems like. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, we want more people to call us. We want more people to come in the door to talk to us. One of our big, like our tagline on our logo right now, that a lot of people will see is we're listening, because that's kind of what we're doing right now in this part of our process as an organization. We just want to go out and listen to people, and even though I'm out here talking, I still want to listen. I still want to hear from musicians, from sound engineers, producers, anyone in the music industry, anyone who's the family of people that work in the music industry. I want to listen to what we can be doing to be more proactive, what we can be doing to better serve the Austin music community, and we're trying to do that, adjust what we do accordingly, and help people as much as possible, along with just empowering the entire Austin music community to really kind of rally around each other and lift each other up as best they can. So
very cool.
Very cool.
And we'll remember Sims forever. Like, Sims is a legacy. That name, Sims, when you hear it, Sims Ellison, I think, to me, that's a one-word name. I want to hear Sims. That's what it means. And I'd like to, in the best way, honor its legacy, play a game on our podcast. I think that's what we do best.
Right on.
And we're going to do one-name bands tonight in a new edition of The Game Name.
Okay. You're going to have a theme song, right?
So tonight, we should come up with a theme song.
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
I didn't listen to the last 5 minutes of the podcast that I did for my homework.
Yeah.
So I'm suddenly lost.
Okay.
I don't
be a new version.
I don't think listening would have helped
No.
get you ready for this.
Yeah. So this edition of The Game Name, TM, we're here again. This is the one-name band, the one-name man, the one-name woe man. All right, so what I'm going to do for this Game Name, TM, is I'm going to name songs, 3 songs. I'm going to go around in a circle. I'm going to name you 3 songs, and then you'll name the one-named artist. So this could be, either their first name, their last name, but somebody who's known as a one-named musician, artist. They could be in a band themselves, but I think you'll know. Okay. So let's give it a go. The
last 5 minutes is when we play the game. So
the
that's why
one-name
you
game.
missed it.
The one-name game. We can start easy. Ready? We'll start with Brett, Brian, Joe, James. We'll go in order. It's got a song named "My Name Is."
Eminem.
Rap God. Yes. All right.
Okay, all right.
For Brian. Skyfall. Someone Like You.
Adele.
Hello. Yes. Adele.
Yeah. All right.
All right. This should have been for Brett. We'll see if young man Joe can get it. Are you lonesome tonight? A little less conversation.
Oh,
Come on, Joe.
Suspicious minds.
Elvis.
Yes.
Elvis.
All right. Good. Nice.
That's good.
Oh,
Oh, man.
man.
Less conversation.
Give me a glass of gravy and a jelly donut. Oh, man.
James.
Good stuff.
We've got Little Red Corvette. When Doves Cry. Purple Rain.
Prince.
Yeah, there you go.
Nice. Yes.
This one's
Good
good
stuff.
for Brett.
All right. I know, right?
We've got
We'll
one.
have to go to Sims after this game.
1, 2, 3, 4. Fantastic Voyage.
Oh, I know who it is.
Oh, don't give him an easy.
Oh, no.
Gangstas.
Oh, you gave it away.
Coolio.
Yeah, Coolio.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
Man.
All right.
1, 2, 3, 4. Get your woman on the floor.
Wanna get up, get down.
A few years ago.
That's awesome.
It
Yeah.
was weird. He had these like college age girls on stage dancing, and it was just it was strange. Like
Oh,
I mean, it
Coolio.
was probably the whitest crowd I've ever been a part of.
I could see that. I could see that.
The ones we heard
Oh my god.
of you and me.
I just heard that song the other day. Actually, it's a great song.
All right, let's do this. Brian.
Yes.
Brian.
Please add these sounds.
We've got Where It's At.
I already know it. I already know it.
Devil's Haircut.
Beck. That would be
Yes,
Beck.
Beck. That is Beck. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh man, I would have got that one.
Where it's at.
Are you
Oh,
feeling-
okay.
Where it's at.
I would have heard that then. All right, what's
right.
mine?
Are you feeling some hip hop?
Sure, I
All
guess.
Some 90s?
Okay, I'll give it a shot. I might need a sound.
Might need a little Brett.
A sound,
Brett
yeah.
assistance.
Yeah, we'll see. Let's go.
Hit me up. All Eyes on Me.
A Tupac.
Yeah.
And California Love. That was the giveaway.
I had that one.
All right. All right. This might be the toughest one. We'll see.
Nice.
James.
James, you
James,
ready
yeah.
for this?
It's not the last
Get
one.
pumped.
You should be able to get, but You Were Meant for Me.
Jewel.
Yeah.
Don't try
Hesitation
to
at
sneak
all,
Jewel by me.
If you could yodel, that would be amazing. If you could
Somebody
start
in this room loves Jewel.
That's awesome. As soon as you said it, he didn't miss a beat. Jewel. Listening to it the other day. That's awesome.
And I love you. Something like that.
Something like that.
Wow.
good stuff.
That was great. That was awesome.
Yeah.
So fast. Alarmingly fast.
Got a few more here.
Now I feel like I shouldn't have hesitated on
I feel like
Prince.
that's the
Like I let him get through the question, but I felt challenged there. So I was like,
All right, maybe Brett will get this. Oh, here we go. All right. How about My Boo? You Remind Me. And Yeah.
Oh, I know who it is.
I got this one. I got this one.
He's at a wedding. He helps you at a wedding. He gets you down the aisle. He gets you
if
into
you can't find
oh
your
Usher.
seat.
Yeah.
Ursher? Ursher?
You remind
Ursher?
me of a girl that I once knew. See your face whenever I look.
Usher's here.
Oh man.
It's crazy. Usher just walked in the room.
Oh, Usher's so good.
Yeah.
I'm about to go back and listen to Usher
Yeah.
as soon as this is over.
Here we go, Brian. This is a good one for you.
Good.
Here are the songs this one named musician is known for. Mr. Brownstone. Civil War.
Is that one word?
November Rain.
I mean, Guns N' Roses, but that's not one word. Axel?
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
That's one word. I wrote down Slash.
Oh, okay. Well,
Okay.
all right.
Okay.
I see
We're
what
going
you
with
did.
band members now.
Oh, I said it.
Slash it up.
I guess you said anybody
Yeah.
by name.
With a
I
one
feel like
name.
that's
Slash.
getting more. This is getting more complicated.
Trying to make
I
it
like
harder
it.
for you. Yeah.
I like it. I
Give me
like
the
it.
next one. Let's hear
They
it.
can't all
It's
be
like
Jewel.
level 2. Yeah. That was the boss battle.
All right. Go get this, Joe. Ready?
Okay.
Halo.
Beyonce.
Yeah.
dude, nice.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was the hardest.
I want to
thing.
give a shout out to my dad who pronounces her name Beyonce. I just wanted to say that.
Doesn't see the
It's the
accent.
best.
Yeah.
Silent at the end.
He's not into saying the whole thing. Too many syllables.
What were the other Beyonce songs you had on there?
Well, you guess. I had 2 more. They were big songs.
Big songs?
Yeah.
Any from Destiny's Child or
Yes.
just all Beyonce stuff? You have Bills on there?
Nope.
You have, what is that one song? Yeah, Independent Woman.
Crazy in Love.
Crazy in Love.
Yeah.
That
Number
makes
2.
sense. That makes
Say my name. Say my
Single
name.
Ladies.
Single Ladies, yes. Those are all Beyonce songs.
You guys were good at
They're
that.
not Destiny's Child songs. Those are all Beyonce songs.
Wait, Single Ladies is a Beyonce song. Or, I mean, it is.
It's not, it is Beyonce. It's not Destiny.
Yeah.
She's great, whatever she does.
I've got some homework to do.
Why do you know
Here we
Jewel,
go.
Jewel
I'm gonna,
better than Beyonce?
since you did so well last time, I'm gonna throw a little boomerang at you,
I should have.
and that's gonna come back to me. That's done. Yeah. So these are songs by a musician who goes by one name.
Oh boy.
Beautiful Day. With or Without You.
I'm gonna let you say the third one.
Sunday, Bloody Sunday.
No, the edge is 2 words, so I'm just gonna go with Bono.
Yes, that is right.
Yes.
The edge,
Bono.
2 words.
Yeah, I wanted to try
Wow.
to be a little bit of a wise ass with my response, but I was like, that's
You're good.
God, you might be the best game. You might be the best game name ever.
This is great.
Damn, he's
Yeah.
good.
TM.
TM, yeah.
You gotta include the TM.
And this is the bonus round for James. He's clearly won. If he wins this, he'll take home $4.
Who's paying
From
for that? I'm
Brett,
not paying
yeah.
for that.
Son
Alright,
of
James.
a bitch.
If you get this, you'll leave a hero. Song number 1, I Can't Stand the Rain. Song number 2, Fly Like an Eagle. Song number 3, Kiss from a Rose.
Seal.
That is Seal.
Yeah,
Yes.
nice. Very nice.
I can't believe Seal just walked in. That was so dumb.
Excellent. Good job, James, and you win.
Oh man.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
definitely
man.
won. Wow.
$4
I was
from
very
somebody.
impressed by
Yeah.
that, yeah. James Whelan, thank you. SIMSfoundation.org. Sign up for HAM. You've got until December 15th, or just sign up for general health insurance if you feel like you need it, or you might not. Knock
Through
on wood.
Sims. Through
Yeah.
Sims or mental wellness stuff,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
Mhm.
through Sims.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
December 15th.
Fair City Fire, you've just reached 1,700 followers on Facebook. So that's a big
Yes.
thing,
Happened
right?
today.
Isn't that-
Really
Big,
isn't that-
that's what everybody dreamed of when they started playing music.
Yeah.
Did you ever think?
That 1,700th follower.
I mean, I know there's like
I'm just
artists that
kidding.
have like 1 million. Like, did you ever think 1,700 people like anything that you do? Yeah,
I don't know. That's
Yeah.
that's
No.
so many more people than I know.
Yeah,
you know.
That's awesome. That's great.
So it's pretty cool that's a thing.
And we'll
I appreciate it for sure.
and hopefully in the future we'll be working together with Sims again.
Of
for
course.
another,
Oh, we
for
will.
another show. I
Yeah.
think we definitely will.
Without
yeah.
a doubt.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Your marketing was real good today, James.
Aw,
I
thanks.
believe in your project.
Yeah, I hope Giving Tuesday went well for.
Giving Tuesday went splendidly.
Did
I
you win
think,
your little? You had a little
Oh yeah. No, I won.
fundraiser off. Yeah, good.
Yeah. No, I had a little competition with my coworker, and we tried to see who could get more of their Facebook friends to donate, and I won.
Nice.
Well,
Cheat.
the day hasn't ended, so
That's
I should
true.
probably knock on wood.
That's
but
true.
I've got a good lead going into the final stretch. So
Nice.
Nice.
That's gotta feel good.
yeah.
Sweet.
And we'll leave you with that, musicians. It's all about how many followers you have. Only think about that.
That's the only takeaway.
It's about followers and who gives you positive internet messages. And that's what we'll leave you with today. Thanks, James.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Appreciate y'all.
See us again.
Bye.